Well, it's June 12th, 2004, just the beginning of the summer season in the Great North Country, and this is deja vu all over again for Calvin Castine and Hometown Cable, because he and the late Bob Venn came here some time ago to do a television show. But I would guess it was, maybe 8 or 9 years ago, Calvin, or something in that vicinity, and our friend Leonard Smart called up and said, why don't you come out and join us for a fly day? Fly Day is pretty much what you might guess it is. They don't invite all the black flies, but they invite a lot of people to come here and watch planes fly. We've talked with Leonard about it, we've talked with others about it, and who among those people watching our program today doesn't love model airplanes? Is there anybody viewing, especially the male population, who hasn't built one or tried to build one at one time or another in their lifetime? I know I have. Most were tremendous disasters, but some of them actually flew off our big hill in Thornwood, New York. So Len will be here soon, and among the regular gas model airplanes with the Plattsburgh Radio Aero Modelers Association are jet aircraft that we talked about, you've seen on our program before, and a tremendous variety of other winged aircraft with gas models, helicopters, and so on. This will be a day of fun, of competition. There'll be no doubt Michigans and memorabilia sold. It's a real nice place on the Rooney Road off the Jersey Swamp Road, in my direction off the Pellerin Road in the town of Beekmantown. Most of the Rooney Road is paved, so it's easy to get here, and these people meet quite often, and there is a tremendous amount of camaraderie, and from generation to generation, the fun of building model planes and rockets is handed down. So we'll be here for a while today to show you through the eyes of Calvin's Hometown Cable camera what this radio air remodeling or aero modeling organization is all about, and I think you'll be amazed at how some of these planes fly. Stay with us. I tell you, people who carry a microphone attract each other, and I walked in and I saw Jim Holloman with a microphone. How are you, Jim?
Doing good, very good.
Thank you so much for allowing us to come up here today and just capture a little bit of what you guys do. You've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, I've been at it for about around 10 years now that I've been flying, so it's a fun thing to do.
We were waxing nostalgic, as Calvin and I often do on this program, because I'm old. And we're talking about some of the people who started this club and have been flying here for a long time, and we dropped a couple of names.
Yeah.
And who were you talking about earlier?
Maynard Joubert. He's the man that taught me to fly. He's the one that was my instructor when I first started, yeah. It's been a good while. I guess he passed away a few years ago, but we miss him. Yeah.
Nobody worked harder for modeling than
no, and he was very good at it. He did a lot of as far as his paint jobs and the building of scratch building models. It was excellent, top notch all the way.
Well, we've had a little bit of a preview as we went down and did a television show with Leonard Smart. Yeah. My mind is wandering in this beautiful blue sky with Len, because he's helping another guy rebuild an old pickup truck that I used to own in the back of his shop.
Right.
And so we saw some of the planes that he was building and the jets that he had planned to fly here today, and the jets are a little incredible, aren't they?
They are. There's some of the latest in the technology of modeling field here, and they're super high tech, those things are. And they're quite expensive. You don't have most of our people here are not into them because they're really just a little too expensive for us to get into.
It's fun to watch them all fly. And as I said when I started the show, what kid doesn't love, or the big kid like me doesn't love model airplanes?
Well, they say you're never too old to enjoy a happy hot childhood. So we love it. And most of the guys are here. Some have flown full scale. And they just continue on with the hobby. Yeah, about that way.
Jim, are you a native of the North Country, or?
I'm not a native of the North Country. I was originally from North Carolina, and I was in the Air Force for 20 years, and I wound up.
That's a story that we hear often.
I wound up retiring here and worked here for a while, and now I reside in Florida, and I come up here for the summer.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Talk about the best of both worlds, huh?
Yeah, I fly down there all winter, and I come up here and fly one in the summer. What summer we can get here now. It's been weather very bad here for the last few weeks. But I'm here for about 3 months, and then I'm back down there.
How did you end up with the microphone here today? Is that something you do often?
Well, they made me I'm supposed to be the guy that they blame when everything goes wrong. So
yeah, I know that feeling.
so that's how I happen to have that sort of directing things that we have to maintain a certain amount of safety and everything with these. So sort of overlooking what's going on and making sure we stay within the limits. Yeah.
Jim, tell me a little bit about what we might expect to see here today.
Well, we've got several guys, pilots here from Vermont and lower part of New York, down around Carlisle and up as far as Malone, and they bring their models down. And what we're going to do, we're just going to let them fly as they would like to, and we do have a turbine here, one of the jets, so hopefully we can get them to fly later on. I think Leonard's going to fly that later on.
He promised.
Yeah, and that's about it for the day. It's going to be flying today and tomorrow. And
is there friendly competition among the pilots?
Not really in this in this flying. What they normally do is they sit back and watch each other fly, and then they critique their flying stats, and then they'll talk about them. But that's all part of the fun of being in the hobby.
So we like that guy's paint job way better than ours. We're gonna go spray that thing again.
Or someone didn't like that landing he made, and it's just it's good fun. It's good fun all the time.
So it's not a good day to screw up. You're telling me you don't want to crash one today.
No, it's not with everybody
day,
watching.
Really.
Right. There's a lot of work there. I mean, usually when you have a crash, unless it's really, really bad, you can repair it.
Yeah.
But you don't want to crash. As they say, though, all these models have an expiration date on them. You just don't know when it is yet.
That's the way our bodies are, in case you didn't know that, Jim.
Right.
Thank God we don't know what the expiration date is.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at the varying size of these planes. Some are tiny and some look like they have 6 or 8 foot wingspans.
Well, that's when you start to get into the larger, sometimes they have just regular meets for the third scale, the larger airplanes, quarter scale, third scale, and on up. And then you have the smaller ones that's just for the fun fly deal. A lot of the larger stuff is more scale. They try to make it look as close to the original plane as possible. And the others are just fun fly, and some of the real small ones are racers. We have pylon racing sometimes, and it's all just depending on what you're into. Some are just regular fun fly, as they call Sunday flyers. They just come out and just fly around the sky.
But like any other hobby, this can become a real passion, can it? Huh?
It can and has for a lot of people. Some people make their living at this because there are
business,
it's big business, and there are competitions and where they have the best of the best, so to speak, from all over. And it's not just U.S., it's all over the world. They come from Japan, Germany, France, or Australia, and they all get meat, and they have big contests, and there's big money into it.
And I didn't realize until I talked to Leonard and he showed me some of these covers. There are magazines covering this sport, a number of them.
Oh, yes.
Some very popular magazines.
Oh, yes. There's, our governing body here of AMA, they're the one that provides all models, all the people that are flying, you see flying these things, they have to have insurance, and they have to they either belong to a club or they have that AMA insurance to cover in case there is some accident or something. And it can get expensive. You can get into it and stay at the lower level if you want to, or you can spend money and go right on up into it, get the big stuff.
We were doing a program yesterday on the history of Clinton Community College and Bluff Point in general, including the golf course. And the gentleman whom we were interviewing was talking about golfing widows. I don't know how many of those are attached to this sport or not, but I imagine there could be a few.
There's a few, and then some of the wives come out and fly with the
I
fly
noticed
also.
that, and that sounds like a good thing. It might be a good family thing.
It is a family hobby because the kids, they get into it. They learn to fly much quicker and faster than their parents do, but it's a hobby that the whole family can get into.
I was just thinking, as you were saying that, the young kids today are among that computer game, television, TV game generation, and so they might have that hand-eye coordination that you and I might not have so good.
They definitely do. And I instruct also myself
you do?
in teaching, and the kids, I love to do that with, because it's only a matter of, a real short time and they're flying already. It doesn't take them long. They pick it right up real easy.
How many planes do you own, Jim?
Oh, goodness.
Do we want to get into that?
I think there's probably 15 would be a conservative figure. Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, are your planes here?
I've got 3 right here in front.
Right here in front?
Yeah,
Which ones? Come on over.
This maroon and yellow in here, that's...
Go on the other side?
Sure, we can go on the other side.
Yeah, we got over the fence. All right, talk about it.
Okay, this one is, we're looking at here, the maroon and yellow is a Scat Cat 500, as they call it, and it's used for pylon racing. And they're pretty fast. They'll do something in the neighborhood of 100, 105 miles an hour.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's not one at a time. They usually have 4 of these in the air at a time together.
Oh, boy.
And they're only about 20 feet off the ground, and it's pretty hair-raising as they go.
I betcha.
And the other one, the silver one there, that's F-14, they would call it. It has retracts. It's a nice flying plane. It's pretty fast. I'd say probably 80, someplace in that 80 miles an hour probably. And the other one, the white, blue, and pink there is an old Killer Chaos, as they call it. So it's sort of a pattern ship. You notice the length of it is much long. The moment of it is much longer than the others, so it makes it's more stable in the air than the others. And they use that a lot in contests, as far as pattern contests. And of course, this model is out of production now. They don't make them anymore. You can find one here or there from somebody that has one for a long time. But that's the way. That's how that operates. Yeah.
Do you build some of yours from scratch, or do you build them from kits, or?
Most of them are, most of them from kits. These all come in kits, and you got a box of sticks, and you have to put it all together. There's a few that now they call ARFs, almost ready to fly. It's already assembled, and you just
ARF. I love it.
Yeah.
I've been accused of that myself from time to time. So they're almost ready to go.
Yep, they're all covered in just different sections. You have to put the wings together and probably put the gear on them and put your radio equipment in it, and you're ready to go. Then there's some, what I'm working on now is what they call a scratch built. You get the plans for it, so you have to cut out all the parts and everything yourself, and that takes a little longer time. It'll probably be about 2-3 years before I get that one together. It's a Bronco V10. So it's twin engines, retracts, the whole works.
Wow.
So
when you say retracts, you mean retractable landing gear,
right? The gear, when it takes off, they fold up into it. Yeah.
And from what I understand and talking with Leonard, of course, that's what he likes to do. The paint jobs are really important to some people who do modeling.
Yeah, well, most of these that you see here are covered. This is a covering that you put on. It's not painted.
I see.
And you put it on, you stretch it on as tight as you possibly can, then you use something that we call a heat gun, which is like a hairdryer.
I see.
And excuse me, when the heat strikes it, it makes it stretch tight, drop tightly. But the paint jobs, the ones that really know how to do the airbrushing and such, those
pretty special, aren't they?
They're special and expensive. Yeah.
Oh, that too.
Yeah,
I imagine
right.
those two would together. And some of the planes that are flying here don't look brand new. They've been around for a while.
They've been a while. This mine here this one's about 5 years old, and of course the one in the middle is a little over a year, and the other one is about 2 years old. And there's quite a few. If you're good, and then if you're good, if you're lucky, also.
That too.
Yeah, they fly for they'll last you a long time.
Have you ever tried a helicopter? I see behind us here three or four helicopters in a row.
I haven't tried that. We do have.
That looks like it might be interesting.
It is. They're going to fly for us later on here. They are from Carlisle, New York, and.
They got one on the table.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, that's.
On the table.
Couple there that I think Leonard just painted those for him.
Oh, he did, really?
He did the paint.
Oh, they're quite special, aren't they?
Yeah, very good, very nice.
So you're going to go for 2 days? We're recording this on the 12th day of June. That's on a Saturday, so you're going to go Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday, and it's all for hospice. All the profits from this operation goes to hospice. All the donations.
Magnificent organization for any of us who who've had any reason to be attached to it to help them raise money or had loved ones who've needed hospice. There's no finer organization, so I can't think of a better way to raise money.
Right. Well, that's what the club decided, that we were having a good time here, and we could do something for one of the charities in the area, and we picked hospice because some of the guys have had some experience with it, and said, hey, it's a good one, so we all decided to go with it.
It is a good one. How often do you fly during the summer when you're up here?
We fly every day.
Do you really?
If weather permitting, we're flying every day.
Kidding.
Yeah.
And you have these actual fly days?
We have a fly-in like this. Now we'll have another one in July, and but there's a get-together like this. But as far as the club members themselves, they're out just about every day. If the weather's permitting, they're out here.
Well,
especially on weekends and such. Yeah.
It's like any other sport. You got to keep. You got to keep doing it.
Gotta
keep those talents sharpened up, huh?
Keep the fingers and thumbs in operating condition. Yeah.
You've got a little experience in the microphone too, and I know you have a lot to do today, Jim. I want to thank you for helping us open this program today, and we hope to talk to you again before we leave.
All right, good. Thanks
a lot, Jim Holloman.
Thank you.
Calvin's the one that's craning his neck, and we'll just turn. I got my shades on. I looked at that sky, and I said, I better put them on. Jim, you told us a few minutes ago off camera that you actually purchased this property a while back.
Yeah, the club purchased. We used to lease it for a while. Then we bought it. We had a chance. Mr. Castine was the owner. He wanted to sell it, and we'd asked him to give us first offer. So we bought it. It's about 39 acres all total.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and club members donated, put the money in, and we own it.
You know, that's that has a lot of advantages.
It is in that you don't have to, we're here. It's also the area is sort of like in a wetland, so we don't have the problem of people moving in, building close by, so because there's nothing to do with it.
That's a terrific idea. And you talked about space, and it's something that I wouldn't automatically think of, but when you got a club like this, you got to have flying space.
You got to have a lot of flying space, and especially if you're flying jets, because jets take up a lot of area, overfly, and you have to be on good terms with the neighbors, your farmers around, that they don't mind you flying over their property and all this. Like the fellow up here just says, if we have to go out in the woods to get a plane, just let me know that you're going out there, and that's what he, when you're going out and coming back, he wants to know, and that's no problem with that.
Most viewers watching this program today would not know how far a radio-controlled plane can fly away from the controller, and you said up to 3 miles? That surprised me.
The transmitters have at least a 3-mile range. If there's another club within 3 miles of this club or around that point, we'd have to get a frequency agreement between the two clubs.
I can understand how that could be a problem.
Right, so because we can't fly 2 aircraft on the same frequency at the same time.
Yeah.
So we'd have to have an agreement with them so that they would use certain frequencies and we'd use certain frequencies. There wouldn't be any conflict there.
But there are lots of frequencies available, aren't there?
There's about, I think it's 50, plus on the FM, 72 rather. And then there's also a group of ham bands also that can be used, yeah. And there's quite a few. I don't know the exact number, but there's at least 50 or 60 of them.
Is the frequency set, or can you change it?
You can't change it. You can change frequencies in your radio by getting one of the other frequencies and pins, not the crystals rather, and put into them and change it. But as far as the frequencies that we are flying on are set, given to us by the FCC, so they're all set that way.
So you know roughly what frequencies are involved, for example, in this little fly-in you have today?
Oh yes, we have our frequency board, which you probably can see under the tent there with the little white,
I wondered what that
pins
was.
up there.
Okay, I had no idea.
Right. So when an individual signs up, he's given another pin, which is a black pin, and when he wants to fly, he'll go up and ask for a certain frequency, like 58 or 49 or whatever, and the individual will check to make sure that pin is available. If not, he'll have to wait until the other guy comes back.
Oh, see.
Comes down, yeah.
All these details. Leonard's getting here. I see him.
Yeah.
Is that a jet that he's bringing in?
That's a smaller jet. Yes, it is. It is. That's known as the Bobcat. And the one they're going to be flying mainly today, I believe, is called the King Cat. It's a little bit bigger. It's made by Bob Violet Models. He's out of Florida also, and he's one of the primary leaders in turbine jet.
He's really into it. I know
Yes.
that.
Oh, yeah.
He,
Oh,
talk about a passion for flying. All these guys have it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's cool. He's cool. Well, we're going to watch some of the action and interview some other people, Jim, and you have a terrific day. Thanks
You too.
again.
Thank you.
Wade.
Thank you.
We're just another plane is flying, and we just want some of you to take a look at how much fun it is and how very talented some of these pilots are. Mind you, they have to stand by with a transmitter and a joystick, and they control everything there is to do about the flight of that model airplane. And some of them look tremendously realistic. I can hear Jim saying it's Bruce Reed for the Laser 200.
Gas-powered engine, a little bit larger than the Globe engines or whatever. Also, as I said earlier, Bruce is from Keene Valley. His radio system being used on that is Taba. Taba is one of the major brands of transmitters that we use on our models. Bruce Reed, Keene Valley.
Great,
Like these train guys, you know, with the model trains.
yeah.
They got it.
Are you kidding me? Oh, any hobby's expensive today, you know?
Absolutely.
Just beautiful to watch these planes. Calvin said when I was complimenting him, he found a hard time getting the plane in the frame, you know what I mean? It's hard to follow moving objects like that in a situation such as this. In a golf match, and I was being facetious, they have automatic tracking devices. They can follow a golf ball from as far away as a blimp, which is kind of amazing all by itself. But it is fun to watch these planes and to realize that they're generally built to scale. And that one I particularly like. It's reminiscent of a lot of the planes I've seen and some that I drew as a small child during the Second World War. And the flyleaf of my father's hymnals in church while he was preaching and I was supposed to be listening. Looks like a nice little crowd here today, and I don't know how much money they'll be raising for hospice, but I hope it's enough to continue doing this from time to time. And my congratulations to this radio aero modeling group for what they do in the North Country to get kids inspired to do something outside of the house and to get adults and families involved in a wonderful outdoor sport. Well, we were drawn to the helicopters. Can you blame us? No. Stan, how do you pronounce your last name?
Kopreski, yes.
I love it. Where are you from?
Albany, New York.
Have you ever joined these guys in a fly-in before?
Absolutely. We try to support it every year. So this is the second year with this event, so we're here to help out and do whatever we can for them.
Well, we're delighted. Tell us a little bit about your passion with model planes and especially helicopters.
Well, we started the planes in 1969 with the radio control, and before that I think I was 8 years old and I beat the big guy next door into teaching me how to build airplanes and been doing it ever since, and then sort of tripped over the helicopters in about 1990. And that's just become probably, I can't say, it's got to be the main part now. We're still do the planes. This is one of mine, but there's three helicopters here.
And get over here so I don't step on your tool.
It's a little stunt bird that I like to fly around.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It just keeps your fingers limber, you know. And
I would imagine flying helicopters keeps your fingers limber.
That'll do that too. Makes you a better airplane pilot too.
Oh, you're a pilot?
Well, no, just
right,
in the RC.
Okay.
Yep.
So tell us the difference between helicopters and planes. Tremendous difference.
Well,
right?
the airplane, you have time to think. You can put it into a straight and level flight and let go of the sticks, take a break. The helicopter is 8 to 10 commands per second just to hover it flat.
You gotta be kidding.
So there
Almost
is
like
a
the
little
real
different.
thing, huh?
Exactly. Except you're standing on the ground, so you have to read what's happening or before it even happens. And so we're, you know, but it's a challenge, but quite doable with the electronics and the mechanics now, and the simulators that are out there now. I've had guys, new students come out, first tank of fuel, they're able to hover.
You gotta be kidding.
No, it's phenomenal with the electronics that are out there available. The simulators have been a godsend to the hobby.
Really?
Yes.
How many do you have? How many helicopters?
Here,
all told?
I think I'm down to 8 now.
You're down to 8.
We thinned out a
I
couple.
love these ones right behind Calvin,
that's
over Calvin's right shoulder.
They're
Let's
the
talk about
brand
them.
new. They're brand new. They haven't been the actual in the fuselages haven't been flown yet. The mechanics that are in them are over a year old. Floyd Hamilton in the green funny looking shirt owns the green helicopter. And
I thought he was coming to punch you out, Stan. I thought we were going to have a good battle on our hands.
but mine is ready to go, the yellow and red. But yeah, there's 13 lights on each one of these right now that are functioning.
Kidding.
And you can see the strobes, rotary beacon at the rear and underneath, and strobe on top, and then landing lights in the front and landing lights in the skids.
And then we have the skid lights right in the tips.
Oh, that's beautiful. Did Leonard do the painting?
Yes, Leonard Smart did the painting, and he's been a long-time friend, and I'll tell you what, it's just, he's an artist. I can't call that
guy,
paint.
and his dad has had a passion for
Absolutely.
flying, and he
That's
instilled it in Leonard. And
That's right.
All the doors are functional.
Yeah.
I hope so. The pilot's got to be able to get
right?
out and get in and get out, you know.
This was actually ready to be test hovers, but with the breeze today and at a show, they're more for display today. So, but we'll get some of the other stuff up so you guys can get a little footage of them flying around if you like.
I would love to see them. Are these the biggest ones you have?
Yes, at this time, yeah,
Biggest
that's
one's finished.
yes, yeah. There's
no,
another
that-
one sitting home that these mechanics. This is the same mechanics that's in the these. That's the test flight configuration. That's how you set up the mechanics, break the engine in, make sure everything's right. You take half of that, throw it away, and put the center right inside. And that's what you
Isn't that
use.
amazing? Do you guys have a big club down where you are?
What we got? No, it's really
No kidding.
it's more like a private country
Right,
club.
it's a 1,000-foot runway, 6 acres, and about 20 members.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking to Jim about how this club owns this property and how nice it is to have almost 40 acres of
Sure.
land and good relationship with the people who live around here and wetlands, and it's pretty much an ideal site. Do you have something similar down your way?
We have our
Yeah,
closest neighbor is a real pain, though.
yeah, it's him.
Me. If you go on our website, www.
You know, I hate to come your way. I'd rather you come and break the machine than me, Floyd.
If you go on our website, www.theflyingdeuces.com, you'll see in the opening, first of all, it's a massive website. It's about the largest club website you've ever seen.
No kidding.
Really.
We'll look it up.
And the next thing is if you're on dial-up, prepare to take your time because there's a lot of graphics in it,
Good stuff.
and you'll see all the aerial shots of the flyovers over the field, and you'll see there's a house in the front about maybe a quarter mile, half a mile, I guess it is, in front of it. That's my house, and I'm the closest neighbor.
Nothing's hit your house yet?
Not yet, nah, not even near. But it's all in the woods, and we've got a good setup.
You know, Calvin and I were just saying, after interviewing Jim and him saying, you know, if you have an adjacent club within 3 miles or so, you got to make sure you know what frequencies you're flying on. Who would ever dream about that aspect of it? I would never. Is that difficult where you are? Do you have to know what people are
No,
doing?
well,
around
we
you?
do. We want to know, but AMA keeps a track on it. They actually have the GPS location of every club and every sanctioned club. And if there's another sanctioned club within a certain distance, they will notify you immediately.
So what? Now, Calvin had a great question. He has all the good questions around here. What happens if some joker's flying a plane in a field right near here on your frequency?
You may have a problem.
Does that ever happen to you?
No.
I wonder why.
Well, it's still
I mean,
relative.
some guy who's not sanctioned, don't people just take a plane and fly it in their backyard?
Yeah, that's a problem they have with the new ones called the park flyers. They're small planes that anybody can afford, and a lot of people will just grab them. And the first thing they do is they grab that park flyer, they throw it in the backyard, and they wrap it up right away. But in the meantime, they do send out a frequency. Have you noticed we have the frequency control over here?
Well, we saw that, and the pins and everything, and that's a great idea. But a guy who's flying in his backyard, and 2 or 3 guys that are getting together on a rec field.
It's the same thing as if you have somebody get into a car that doesn't have a license.
I suppose you're right.
It's the same situation. So it's if you look at it in that venue, you'll find out that there's a lot of things that are just as bad.
But I noticed in talking with Jim and watching how everything's set up here today, everybody's pretty safety conscious.
Absolutely. If they're not, they're off the field. Simple as that. And anybody
Can't
on
afford to have it any other way, can you? When you're-
anybody on this side of this fence should have AMA insurance. And I know you guys are professionals, so you're allowed on this side of the fence. But if you're on this side of the fence, you have to have AMA insurance.
Makes perfect sense. Floyd,
Yeah.
what's your last name?
Hamilton. Floyd
Floyd.
Hamilton.
Oh, Lloyd. I'm sorry.
Lloyd.
Floyd Hamilton. Do you live right in the Albany area as well?
I live
or-
30 miles west of Albany.
Do you? Mm-hmm. That's great. Well, we're delighted to have you here today, and this is a real good experience for us.
Well, thank you.
Brings out the kid in everybody, doesn't it?
Thank you very much.
Right. Thanks, Floyd. This guy's very good. People who live here in Clinton County are used to seeing a guy I dubbed the Red Baron many years ago. His name is Jim Drolette, who does stunt flying out of the Clinton County Airport. And he begged me for a long time to take a ride with him, and I thought it would be great fun, never realizing or failing to remember that my stomach doesn't like to go around in circles. So even though I had fun for the first 30 or 40 seconds of that flight, I never was so sick in my life. But I do have that memory of having done the hammerhead and the 8-point turns and the stall outs and all the other things that they do. Thank goodness there are no real pilots in these planes today. But it's absolutely a perfect day for this kind of demonstration. You know, we've done several other programs at trailer shows, mobile home shows, RV shows, but never have I seen what appears to be a homemade model airplane carrier as nice as this one. You can see the structure of the frame inside built like an airplane with a spare tire on the back that comes apart and a drawer that obviously slides out. Before we're through here, we hope to do an interview with these gentlemen who are putting together a pretty decent plane. It had no wings on it when it arrived here. They're sliding them together, and we'll attach the props momentarily. That's a really nice looking classic plane, and perhaps it will be flying a little bit later today. We arrived here shortly after 10 o'clock this morning and have watched the crowds grow considerably since arriving, and more planes are coming in, so we hope the event is well attended for the next 2 days to benefit hospice here in the North Country, which does a magnificent job.
Good airplane.
Oh, we walked about 10 steps. That is a good airplane. Len Smart, how are you?
Good, yourself?
Tell us what you know about that plane. Do you know those guys?
I know those boys. They're from Crown Point. Exceptionally good pilots. They do a lot of ringing out. They had a great fun fly down on July 4th at Westport for years, and it got so big they had to stop doing it because it became a 5-day event. It just became so huge they just couldn't put it on anymore. So now they just show up to all these little fun flies and have a great time.
That's a nice plane.
Nice flight. Great flight.
Good. I heard you were doing a little photo shoot this morning. I mean, I don't know. I can hardly express how thrilled I am to be close to somebody who's famous like you. Covers of magazines. What were you doing at Blair & Weber this morning?
Well, we came in from Granby, Quebec last night about 1 o'clock, 1:30 this morning. Got up this morning and got the model in there and the female model for the 2 helicopters that are going on, which you probably already have shown. And we had a great time. Carrie Tatro, who's the young girl who I hired to model the aircraft, she brought a girlfriend. And unfortunately, I'm sorry, I forget her name. Marcy, but whatever. I'm sorry about that, hon, really am. And we threw her in there with it. They were both gorgeous. Just the most beautiful layout. Neil Keach, again, he does such
He's the best, isn't he?
Oh,
well, what's going to happen with the photos?
Well, hopefully RC Modeler may use them, or Helicopter World. We're not sure which one's going on, but it looks right now like RC Modeler, because we told you in the future, or in the past on our first get-together, that we're going to have 4 photo shoots of 4 different airplanes. We ended up throwing 2 helicopters in the deal too. And behind me is also one of the new King Cats that we're painting up for a friend of ours in Rutland, Tom Puma, which he had a cover shot in January of 2004. And we did very well with that. But we are having a great time with this. This is what it looks like. This is the King Cat. It's a Bob Violet aircraft. This one's about $10,000 before paint. And Tom Puma hired me to put the American flag on it. And it's not finished yet. We're still working on the graphics and doing some more airbrushing. We got a few touch-up spots here and there. But the white one behind it's the one we're going to fly today, probably in about an hour. I got to put color on it. We lose it. We can't find it in the air.
I can understand that, especially on a day like today.
At 200, yeah, I thought
200 miles an hour.
200 miles an hour, and it really scares you in a hurry when you can't see it. And
I think you expressed that before when we were talking to you in your shop, how easy that is to happen. I mean, people don't realize when you have one of these prop jobs going at 80, 85, or 102, it's a little bit different when you double that, isn't it?
Yeah, and the owner, Bob Jesse, has no fear. He's standing next to me. He's laughing when I said, I lost it. You know where it is? And he's laughing. He goes, no. And I'm going, he owns the plane. And I'm sitting there going,
somewhere in Katyville.
I said, I'm just going to hang out. There it is. And he said, how do you feel? I said, I'm a little nervous right now. So it was we got 7 flights on it. So today we'll probably get 3 or 4 more easily. We put the smoke on it last week. So now we have a smoke system on board.
Oh, come
yeah,
on.
this is going to be great.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I had some idea after talking with you the last time, but you really don't get the flavor of it until you step right here.
Yeah, I'm so glad you guys came.
Smell the fuel.
Yes.
And watch the passion of these guys petting their planes like they were their favorite pet.
They're caressing things like they're the only child they ever owned, you know. And some of these pilots are exceptionally well. They're just very good pilots. This one's running a little funny right now, a little on the rich side of it. Well, usually there's a contrail behind it, which is a smoke trail, and there's nothing much. But maybe he'll land it and play with it some more.
I think I recognize that guy who's working as a co-pilot up there. I've seen him around before, and we met your dad earlier, who was co-piloting a couple other people who were flying.
I know the pilot. That's Stan Kapretsky. That's the guy who has a helicopter, and his buddy. They're from Albany area.
The Albany area.
Yes.
We just talked with Stan a few minutes ago.
That's his plane, and it's unusual. He's probably just doing some test flying on the motor. But
you can tell by the sound, can't you?
Yeah,
it's too rich.
It's either a little too rich, and there's no smoke, so it's probably a little too lean. But
we were talking with Jim. We had a good interview with Jim
Holloman
a while ago, and Jim's been flying for a long time, and he mentioned how you had purchased this piece of land and how nice it is to own your land, and how you have agreements with people, and how you hope that some farmer isn't in his field flying a plane on your frequency. Stan says that that's not a problem for them down there. Have you ever had a problem with people close to your frequency?
Well, we've had what we call a road club, or a group of guys that fly on a certain road away from here, and every now and then we get hit over on the northeast part of the field, and it really is a bad situation when the plane's making a turn also and spirals in for no reason. We don't know why we're getting hit, and we went over to talk to the farmer and see if he had a ham frequency that was bleeding over, which is not happening because ham does not bleed over to us, but we couldn't explain it. So now certain airplanes and certain channels, we just stay away from there. Now when I fly, I don't have any regards where I know where I have to be at all times. So if I'm over there, it's not going to happen, because these radios that we're flying is a JR radio, and they're $1,200 just for the radio. Yeah, it's pretty expensive.
Maybe we got a Bermuda Triangle right there.
And maybe what it is.
Well, you know, a lot of things are controlled by radio frequencies, as you know, and we learned from Jim that there are only, about 50 or 60 frequencies available for model.
Yeah, we kind of got slid in between the cell phones, and FCC really put us narrow band, and which is nice, but it really hampers it. But the nice thing is now it's so narrow that you can be flying on channel 50 and a guy on 52 and not worry about bleed over.
That's great, and we had no idea until we came here, maybe Calvin did, that you have a frequency board with pins on it.
Yes.
When people, who would ever dream about that until they really got into this?
And we were talking about horror stories from Florida. Jim was telling us earlier this week about some of the things that happen, and some of the clubs have a shoot-down clause that you sign, that if you go to a meet or a fun fly and you sign it, and you accidentally turn your transmitter on the same frequency as somebody else and they crash, you buy the plane. And we don't do that. Oh, yeah. So
that could tend to make you think a little bit.
So today when we fly the turbine,
with one of these,
nobody goes in the air. We've already asked everybody, please, when we go up, absolutely nobody have a radio in their hand, and everything checked on the frequency board and the impound area. We have a little bit too much money and too much time at stake to lose. But you go to a national meet and there's seven or 10 of these in the air at a time. They don't even care. They're wild. We're supposed to be in Belleville, Ontario this weekend for a big jet meet, but being a Plattsburgh group and Bob Jesse being a Plattsburgh member, he asked that we stay here, and so I'm here today instead of flying up in Belleville, which is a great thing. It's a great field.
It's a good thing that you're doing for all the reasons we know, and some our viewers may not know, and that is assisting hospice.
Oh.
No finer organization, and goodness knows we hope we never have to use the services, but in all the things I've done in my life and in many of the things you've done, you're touched by what these wonderful people do.
We are so blessed to have hospice to be affiliated with them. We did this last year and had a great turnout. We had to do it again. They've helped us, a lot of our members, for so many years, and we've lost a lot of our members, or a few of our members, and hospice was right there. They made it more comforting for everybody. And we lost some of the greatest pilots. Maynard Jubert, and I mentioned him earlier.
We mentioned his name several times here today already.
We were joking about that the other day, and we finally got smoke to work in this jet. We said, Maynard's rubbing my shoulder. And they said, why is that? I said, Maynard never got a smoke system to work well, and I finally got one that works, so he's giving that away for me. Bob Jesse was tickled. We went through 40 ounces of smoke oil in about 15 seconds.
Did you really?
We got to crank it down a little bit because it's too much.
Put wing tanks on it for the smoke oil.
Oh, it was unbelievable. It was great though, but we've had a great relationship with hospice. We hope we do them well this weekend. We hope in the future when people see this on your show that they come out every year and try to support it. This isn't for our benefit, it's for hospice, and this is the only way we can help them, then we're going to do it that way.
How do these other clubs find out about this? You send them notes, or?
We do a lot of mailing, do a lot of phone calls. A lot of these guys are local. There would have been a lot more jet pilots here, but like I said, Belleville, Ontario was a big meet, so they all went there, and I can't blame them. It's an international meet. Jet International magazine is up there, and we go up there quite a bit and we talk to them, get photographs. As you've seen in the pictures at the shop, we've been on there a couple times. These guys are just what we call everyday pilots. They're really great guys, good builders, great at heart, good-natured people. And we like that because they come, we all have a good time, we laugh, we spend all day here, we get burnt in the sun, we eat some runway cafe food, and we have a good time. Just like I said, from all over. It's a great day.
You know, we mentioned this earlier, and it wouldn't hurt to mention it again, since many people are seeing this kind of a fly-in for the first time in their lives. You can get into the sport without spending a lot of money. You can stay in the sport and hawk the farm, baby, right?
Well, it's just like we were talking about race cars. We just started racing go-karts in Montreal, and at first I wasn't, money didn't matter. And all of a sudden I get this track and I'm spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds at a blink of an eye. This sport, $400, you're in the air with a trainer, the radio, everything you need to get in the air. When you want to move up, you just keep spending a little more money, and then when you get to the large scale and aerobatics and jets, it gets really outrageous, but you're ready for that. I mean, if you're not, then you're not in the sport anymore.
It's amazing to me how much talent some of these pilots have. This requires, like Jim said, a lot of these guys fly almost every available sunny day, some days that aren't so sunny.
Oh, we were out last Saturday and Sunday with 30-mile-an-hour winds testing this jet first time. And it's not what you call the best day to test, but we had to get flights on it prior to this event because you're not supposed to fly anything that hasn't been flown at an event. Well, something of this caliber, you have to. We came in and it was flying around like a rag doll, just bouncing up and down all over the air. And I'm just standing there watching it come down, and Bob Jesse's standing there. He goes, "How do you feel?" I said, "I'm nervous." "Okay, it's down on the ground. I'm not so nervous now." 7 flights like that. So it was a good learning experience. We called the rep up, or the company up, and talked to them, and they gave us a few tips on how to bring it in a little slower. This plane flies so slow that if I fly any other plane that slow, it'll fall out of the air.
No kidding.
And I'm having a real tough time because my landings are 40, 45 miles an hour. This come at 25 miles an hour. And I'm just not too comfortable with looking at it, and it's going to stall, it's going to stall, it's going to fall out of the air. The next thing you know, it's coming down, and it's just hovers. And today we're just going to do a couple of quick flights just to bring it out and to practice a few hover shots, and then we'll do some few vertical stuff. It'll go completely out of sight. And hopefully we'll get in the air before you guys take off, because it's a thrill to see.
I would love to see it.
If Calvin can follow this, we're going to hire him, because this is going to be the hardest thing in the world. It moves quick. He may lose it a couple times, but I'm sure he'll follow along. He's doing a pretty good job, it looks like. He's following it really well.
If he doesn't have a crick in his neck after we get home today, it'll be absolutely amazing. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad your dad is here. I'm glad things are going well. What else is new with you since we interviewed you in your shop a few months ago?
Well, since the interview we did with you, the phone's been ringing off the wall on the street rods, which really excited me a lot. I didn't expect that many people to be excited about it, and they come over and they want to see the cars. People from Vermont came over because some of the friends here in this area called them up and said, "Look, this kid's doing this kind of stuff." We've been real busy. We decided to, like I said, race go-karts. We went and bought a cart, and we're up in Montreal now. The road course cart, 125 really exciting. A
That's
lot of
fun.
speed. Oh my God, it's a thrill. And hopefully we'll get back into. Oh, this is a cute plane, a Diabolic. This is gonna. If this guy flies it like it should, you're gonna have a great time. This thing hovers. It's just called 3D maneuvers. It'll hover in front of you and wiggle around and just do crazy things that most real pilots dream of doing. And that's the nice thing with these airplanes. Nice landing. We get to fly. Now the engine is actually running a lot better now. You
I
heard him fly.
noticed the second time.
Get a little adjustment
I think
on
they
it.
tweaked it.
Yeah, they tweaked it just right. Most of the pilots that that really fly love to watch what we do because then they'll go out and practice it. Sean Tucker for a long time was doing some of those violent maneuvers with his 1-800 collect biplane. Now he's doing some maneuvers that people can't even believe, and the other great aerobatic pilots are just phenomenal. Hopefully he's going to take this thing off and just go vertical and hover around a little bit. It'll do tumbles, flips, it'll spin just about on its wingtip, on its tail.
Transparent wing top.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it's nice. There's a meet down at South Carolina called Joe Knoll, and the guys are like these airplanes with these transparent wings will put lights in them, and they'll actually fly them at night. And there was
really?
Yeah, there was a 14-year-old.
How could you do that?
Bright. You see, you can almost see through the wings.
Yeah.
But at night they glow, and they put lights inside of it. They put a red and a green light. They only now do it right in the sun. That's difficult. They only let you do it now with certain aircraft. They won't let us jet guys do it anymore. Helicopter girl.
Imagine how your whole perception and
Totally thrown right off. Your depth perception's gone.
yeah.
So you keep it tight. You practice a lot. He's really tumbling the daylights out of that thing. And you hear it's not screaming. It's not a radical airplane. It's just a lot of throws, see how big the wing is. The wing has got so much area that it flies virtually like a rag. And it real tight circles. He'll do tight loops, tight rolls. See how smooth it is? It's just a fantastic airplane. That could be your third, fourth airplane once you get in this sport.
Really?
It's called a Fun Fly 3D
You gotta
airplane.
be kidding.
Phenomenal airplane. The pilots that we have for training here are just fantastic.
Jim says he does some training. Who else?
Oh, my father, Chris Brown, Jack Hoskins, the club president. Once in a while I get my fingers in it when I'm not too busy.
I bet you do.
Yeah. We try not to train too many because the time schedule right now is very difficult. We're so busy with all these custom paint jobs and with the work at the radiator shop. Yeah, again, the radiator shop's still busy, so yeah, we're still busy. So
That is almost the bottom line.
yeah,
isn't it?
gotta keep money coming in, to play with these toys. Well, I'm really glad you guys came out here. It's a real look at how slow that is. Isn't that beautiful? Just beautiful. Just beautiful. See how
That
nice?
plane's not too heavy, is it?
Oh, it weighs probably 7 pounds.
Does it?
6-7 pounds. That's about it. If it was more than that, I'd be surprised. But you see how slow it is, just hovering. He's just trying to get the hang on its prop like a helicopter. That's we're going to try to do that with the jet, but it's a totally different format. But it's going to be a little bit higher because I'm not. All my maneuvers today are going to be high because I'm still not quite used to the plane. But the plane's large enough; it'll handle it. That engine combination, that airplane is perfect. It's not screaming. It's not overpowered. It's not ripping it up. Oh, that sound is from the prop revving up to almost supersonic. It's phenomenal how fast. Hear it? We flew this the other night with the King Cat, and we didn't see it, but there was a seagull flying, and I didn't see it till it was too late. And I flew right underneath him, and I pulled the plane up behind him, and he started squawking on us like we were a bigger bird, and he was mad at us, and we
He
never
said
laughed.
that?
One thing you don't want to do is hit a bird. It's just not a good thing to do.
I do not think that would be a good idea, and I have to
never
tell you, my son and I were working on the trailer. My trailer breaks yesterday, and I felt my head jar. And I said, "Was that an earthquake?" He said, "I don't think so. Look at your hat." It was a seagull who decided he didn't like where I was on the ground, and his aim was
It was good,
he
wasn't
had
he?
bomb sights. That son of a gun. My wife said, "What's that on your hat?" I said, "You don't
You don't
even want to touch it." Oh, look at this! Isn't that nice?
Excuse me. Well, I'm going to rock and roll. I'm
Okay.
glad you guys came
Leonard,
out. Really, I'm
thanks
really
so
proud
much.
of having you guys out here.
We can't wait to watch you fly.
You do so much here in the North Country. Keep it up. You guys do a
We love
fantastic
every
job.
minute of it.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you in a bit.
It's amazing who you run into at these events. Bill Rowe, how you doing?
Never better.
You always say that. Yeah, I was just telling Calvin how when you and I suffered through those throat problems.
Oh,
I don't even remember what year that was. Do you? You did it twice, though,
Oh,
right?
I did twice. It wasn't fun at all, and I do remember
When was
those.
that? When was it?
Long time ago, my
I
friend.
can't remember.
Long time
In
ago.
the 90s, early 90s, maybe?
Yeah, I think it could be right around
Yeah.
that time.
And you had it done, and God forbid, you had to have it done again, right?
No, I did because I was dumb. I hollered and I ahemed.
Oh,
and
you
when you
are.
have an out, and my otolongologist. Now, how's that for a word?
That's way beyond what I'll ever be
He
able to
said,
pronounce.
"Don't do that stuff."
Yeah.
And you've had the thing on the paper saying that this was coming up, and I should be down working on my boat right now. I had a few problems with them all, had a vacancy, and Bunny said, you don't even think about that boat until you get that place fixed up. So I did, and now it's boat time.
Oh,
But
it
this
is
is
boat time. This is really great, and they're going to do it for hospice, and that makes it even better.
I'm happy
These
to
people
donate.
are good friends of ours, and Calvin's been here years ago to do a show like this, and I've never done one with him, although Leonard Smart is a good friend of ours, and of course Wayne, his dad, who's been into the radio modeling here for many, many years. It's a good sport, you know it?
Yeah, but you and I someday, whether we like it or not, we may need hospice.
You never
My
know.
aunt
Yeah.
had hospice, and they're a wonderful outfit. They
They
really are.
So we're
doing-
delighted they have this 2-day fly-in for people all over the countryside. A lot of people remember Bill for his association with the boating business for how many years?
45 years. It's hard to believe that I've been selling boats in the North Country for. God, I'm old. That's sort of scary. How about
That
you?
doesn't bother me a bit. As long as my legs hit the floor in the morning, and even some days when they don't, I'm glad to be alive.
That's
And
why you're so.
we
Look
just-
at you. That's why
we
you're
just
so good. Look at you.
Keep doing what we do.
That's
Are you
for sure.
feeling good these days?
I never felt better a day in my life. It's true.
We have good women in our lives, and that helps a lot,
Well, you have Kay,
I have Kay,
and I
Kay.
have Bunny.
and you have Money. Look at this. This guy's really, really good. These guys are so incredible. I can't wait to watch the helicopters fly.
They have helicopters too.
They have a whole bunch of helicopters right up there, and you'll see.
Well, let me finish talking to you, and I'm going to
go take a
on
look
the
at
line
them, and we'll check it. Bill,
Absolutely.
thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for being a friend all these years.
all these years.
Thank you,
I've
sir.
known you through good times and bad times,
Yeah.
and now they're good times.
Now they're great.
Terrific. Talk to you soon.
On
You
television.
got the president and the vice president
Oh, I think the chief, talk about chief cooks and bottle washers.
cooking here. Yeah, we don't get overtime either.
It smells good. I wish we could put smells on television back here. Who we got here?
That'll be next.
Jack Hoskins, Peru, New York.
And you are.
Roy Perry from Peru, New York.
You know that, Roy.
Yeah.
So are you guys actually in the club, or did
yeah.
you just get roped in for this?
He's the
or-
president and I'm vice president.
That's
Are
right.
you really?
Yeah.
And Jim Holloman, of course, you spoke to earlier,
Yeah.
is our contest or our event director. He and his wife, Laura, are both avid flyers. They go to Florida every winter, and they're flying all winter long down there. We have to sit here and freeze. Yeah, but they're great people.
You don't do it in the snow, huh?
No, it's too cold, too
It
icy.
is too cold on the hands. Well, Jim might have told you that the club here now has, we have 40 members. Our membership just blossomed within the last year. We're getting a lot of good flyers, younger people, because as we age, we got to be replaced eventually. You know?
Another guy who admits he's growing older. What's up with that?
How true.
Yeah, well, you
Yeah, but we have a lot of fun. It's a great organization, and the people, it's a camaraderie, like any organization, whether it be model trains, model cars, boats, whatever it may be. We have a common interest, and we promote the hobby. We abide by the rules and regulations of the Academy of Model Aeronautics, and it makes it safe for everybody.
Looks like a good day, and we're delighted that you've chosen hospice for the cause, too,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Last year we did the same thing, and we donated what, Roy? About
Just about
$1,000.
Did
$1,000.
you really?
Yes.
For a 2-day event?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And it was a great experience, and they really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I can't say enough about the organization. My mother-in-law needed hospice care, and I'm sure you know people who have had hospice care. I hope I never need their services, But they do a wonderful job.
And
They really
amazing folks and amazing
Absolutely.
volunteers who assist them.
Yeah.
I still want to know how the two head honchos get on the grill here.
We don't trust anybody else with the cooking.
Is that it?
Yes, that's true.
Well, let's hope before this day is through. And again, we're recording this on, what is this, the 12th of June, 2004. We hope the parking lot is jam-packed today and tomorrow. How'd you get involved in model?
There's a fellow by the name of Maynard Jubert who was a...
How many times have we mentioned his
Yeah,
name
he's the
here
one that got
today?
me into the hobby 40 years ago. 40 years ago, believe it or not. And I've been doing it ever since, and I love it. He was an inspiration to me and a good teacher, not only in flying, but in the school. My wife taught with him in the middle school in Plattsburgh for years. And he's a legend. He truly is a legend. A real fine guy, you know. We still think about it. We laugh about him, the things he did.
Well, I have a feeling that his spirit is still around.
I'm sure it is, and it will be. And you keep a guy alive by talking about him.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
What a good thing to do. Like all the television we've watched over the last week, and laying the rest of.
Or was a friend of mine.
Really?
Yeah. Wonderful man. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well,
So you've been involved in this for 40 years?
40 years, yeah. Long time. And I've seen so many changes in the hobby. The electronic equipment and the models and the engines and all that, the improvements and such, and on and on. And it's, for a newcomer, I always recommend that they talk to somebody that's in the hobby, come out here, see what it's about, get on a buddy box with flying a trainer with an instructor before they decide to make an investment. That's the only way to do it, because I've seen so many people get disappointed trying to teach themselves. They crash the plane and they say that's not for me, but they can be taught. Everybody can learn how to fly a model airplane.
And there's somebody out here almost every weekend?
Yes, weather permitting, on a day like today, or even overcast day, there'll be somebody out here on a Saturday or Sunday at least.
You just kind of take a ride out off the Rooney Road. It's easy to find.
Absolutely, 185 Rooney Road. Can't miss it.
And how about if people want a little more information? Can they call somebody by
they
phone?
can call Jack or myself. Jack's number is 643-2276.
2267.
Okay, 2267 in Peru, and I'm 8822. 643-8822. Love to have anybody call because we want to promote the hobby.
Well, we've talked about it several times on this program, and it looks like it's a good, healthy outdoor hobby.
It certainly is. Yeah, we don't allow any alcohol on the field, and smoking's permitted behind the fence and such. But we try to run a very, very clean operation because there are women and children out here, and we just behave ourselves,
That's great. Well, thanks so much for being here, guys, and allowing us to capture a little bit of it on tape.
Yeah, it's great.
See
Thank
later.
you. Thanks for coming.
We also got to see who does the work and who takes the bows there, right?
This counts, right? These points count. We remember when I lived in the Malone area, the Duford Airport and the Malone Parachute Club. We've watched these guys jump several times. Haven't seen them jump here for a few years. I think the last time was maybe for a pet walk or some other walk for charity down on the Bailey Avenue field. So we're delighted that they came here today. The yellow streamers in the air. We have a fairly brisk but not too strong wind. And of course, it takes a little while for the plane to circle the field and for the guys to decide to jump, and hopefully they won't land in the Hamburgs, right? Or what would be even worse, some of these very expensive. They're out here and they come. I see two. He said there comes the third one, so they're very, very colorful. Really pretty coming down. We'll see how close they are. He's got the yellow streamer out, and as our viewers might know, these parachutes are pretty navigable. They are swinging pretty good, and they, unlike some of the free falls that we've seen, these guys open their chutes pretty early. And with the colorful chutes like that, it gives a nice appearance from down here on the ground, and I hope you can see all that through the eyes of the camera. That's really quite neat. I'm glad we were still here when they came. Boy, when they said 12:30, they weren't kidding, because in 15 seconds it will be 12:30 real time on a Saturday afternoon in early June 2004. We're at the scene of a fly-in by the Plattsburgh Radio Aero Modelers Club. Association, and it's to benefit Hospice of the North Country, a wonderful organization. We're at a private field off the Rooney Road in the town of Beekmantown, easy to find from almost any direction. We got one down over here on the right-hand side, and another one that will be circling in momentarily. Here he comes. He did very, very well. Yeah, that wasn't even a very hard landing, was it? That's terrific. Just to add a little color, the kids love it. People of all ages enjoy the spectacle of parachutes landing, and always have, I guess. Of course, it would have been better for the camera if they could have stuck them in a tree somewhere, but I guess we didn't want to wish that on anybody. But parachutes have changed a great deal since the first ones I remember. In the early 1940s, that's for sure.
Yeah, speaking of in the tree, I remember a year ago talking with the Hector Kaufman and parachuting over Belgium.
Oh my goodness. And then to have the 60th anniversary of D-Day recently, and wow, such magnificent stories. Oh, we got two more coming. Okay. You're really going to crack your neck looking up at these guys coming down.
Almost like being at the planetarium again.
Oh boy, that was an experience I'll never forget. Trying to get the stars to show up inside the planetarium at Plattsburgh State. But it was a good experience, and hopefully it turned out to be an interesting and educational program for our viewers. They're going around and landing behind us.
He's going to land right at the last guy lands.
And after the last guy lands, he's going to land the plane here, and that'll be cool all by itself. You can listen to it flutter. Isn't that cool? Even the sound is great. He came pretty close, didn't he, to that? Yeah. He ran up to it in only 24 steps. And here comes the other one. And we have the plane. Hopefully we'll wait till the gentlemen get off the field, then land the plane. Doesn't take very much runway for these guys to take off in a small plane, so I'm sure it won't be too difficult for him to land here. And that probably will be the biggest plane ever to land at this place. See him coming down over the trees.
Are they going to land it here?
He's behind the trees now. Here he comes. Yeah, he's going to zip in here.
Just hold on for a minute. Pit area. Out of the pit area, please. Hold on a minute. We got a plane coming in. Plane is coming in. Then we'll be able to get you back out there. He's on final at this point. Good.
It's kind of interesting. I don't know if they've ever done that before here, but it's a first time for everything. I think he knows what he's doing, don't you, Cal?
I hope so.
That's nice.
Brake! Way to go, hit the brake.
Yeah, way to go, hit the brake. Not too bad, huh? He's probably laughing all the way.
The Beekmantown International Airport.
Yeah. There's the jumper's door flapping. Yeah, I remember the old the phrase barnstorming. Young people may have no idea what that's all about, but when the old biplanes were first invented, the First guy in the neighborhood who learned to fly would take people up for $1 a ride or $2 a ride, and barnstorming meant just what the phrase implies. They would storm the barns and bridges and scare the horses and cattle.
Travel from town to town and
Yeah.
offer their services. I'm surprised they could fit 4 passengers in that small plane. That's
Yeah.
got to be near the weight limit for it.
Maybe it's a remodeled clown car or something. Remember those clown cars?
That fella's going to fit that in his car.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, it's going to be hard to put that in his car.
He's got a big,
Well,
big
that's
trailer.
a good demonstration. I don't know how many people we have here today. I'm sure we have over 100 people by the looks of things.
It's a very nice turnout, and I was talking to Jim about the fact that I think there's a lot of people out there who might come to this who don't realize that the public is encouraged and invited to attend. So when you're aware of these, I think there's another one coming up in July, and we know there'll be another one next year and the year after and so on. But when people are aware of these, make a plan to come. It's a fun, inexpensive way to treat the kids to something that they won't see anywhere else.
The little kids are talking to the paratroopers, and they just love to learn about it. It's very interesting. Maybe we can catch one of the guys and talk to them, huh? And the jumpers are down. Who are you?
I'm Barry Whaling.
I knew that, Barry. I'm so delighted you guys were coming here today. We had no idea when we came up to just record a little bit of this fly-in for hospice in the North Country that you guys were on the way up. Wonderful.
Yeah, we did this for the first time last year. Jim Holloman is a former co-worker of mine who helps organize this event. So any of these local charity events or fundraising events, we're more than happy to drop into.
I want to know if you got points for coming closer to the...
No, actually, mine was technically not a very good landing. The other guys were smoother
Like
than
I would know
was.
the difference. You hit on the ground, there are no broken bones. That's a perfect landing as far as I'm concerned.
The conditions are ideal today. The highlight of this, of course, was landing the Cessna 182 on this field.
I think that was cool. I don't know if that's a first for this Aero Modelers Club or not, but he had no trouble.
Actually, he's done it numerous times at the Malone Radio Club up on County Route 374 or whatever it is up there. We jumped there regularly when we were based in Malone.
You've been doing this for a long time.
Personally, I've been doing this for about 23 years. And Dick, the pilot who just landed, has been at it for a couple of years longer than I.
How big a group do you have down there?
There are 9 of us that own and operate the club as a not-for-profit corporation. So on any given weekend, as volunteer work and labor, there might be, of the 9 of us, 4 or 5 that show up routinely. So we kind of trade weekends to make sure the place is covered.
How does one get started in this? Just an idea you wanted to try to jump one day 20 years ago? Or?
Years ago, I'll tell you a short story. A friend of mine...
We don't care if it's even long.
Bobby Pierce, the son of Art Pierce, had...
Come on.
You know Bobby?
Of course.
He had come back with tales of adventure smoke jumping in the Pocatello area, Pocatello and Missoula, Montana. So that's what his job during the summer was. So when I heard about this back in 1975 or 6, I thought that was a tremendous idea. So in order to experience it, I went to Malone and made one jump in 76.
And when you made that jump...
It kind of hooked me.
You were hooked.
Right. Now, I've never fought any forest fires, and...
that's amazing. When I see that, I say, I can't believe that people can do that.
Yeah, that's a rigorous job, and is prone to injury.
Very, very dangerous. Oh, my gosh, your heart goes out to those guys.
Yeah, very tough.
So how many jumps over the years?
Personally, I have about 1,650 jumps, which isn't, in the big scheme of things, that isn't very many. I'm only available one day a week on Sundays, where some of these guys are there every Saturday and Sunday.
You pack your own chute every time?
Oh, yes, and all the student parachutes, too. We do a lot of packing. In fact, after you've done it a few thousand times, it's like making a bed.
I would imagine you want to make sure those corners are tucked in real tight.
It's real fundamental. Actually, I could show you how to do it here, and within a few hours you could do it yourself.
Probably won't be doing that. I wouldn't let Calvin pack my chute, that's for sure. But it is fun. Is it a kick every time?
Every time. That's what keeps you coming back. There are always new challenges, too. Flying together in formations, accuracy landing, head-down formations. So there's always something new on the horizon. Speed skydiving, the world record now in vertical position, head down, with a speed suit is over 300 miles an hour.
Come on.
So some of that is pretty radical.
I won't be trying that this weekend.
No, neither will I.
Have you tried any stunt stuff?
Well,
like long free falls? Or?
Yes, although we don't have access to a turbine aircraft that would go up above 12,000 feet. Our limit with these aircraft is about 11 to 12,000. Above that, it's not efficient to climb. Personally, I've jumped from 16,000 feet and from as low as 300 feet off a cliff. So,
I want to know where that cliff is.
Bon Echo Park in Ontario.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Is it a regular jumping spot?
No, in fact, you do it in the
gendarmes come after you. They chase you to the car.
You do it with a getaway car running.
Any problems that day?
No. Actually, it was, there were 4 of us that jumped that day, and that was some years ago.
Now, when you cross the border, you're supposed to give them your purpose of your visit. So did you tell them you're going to jump off a cliff?
Off the cliff. Yeah, sure we are.
Sightseeing.
They say, okay, sightseeing. That describes it perfectly. Have you? What's the scariest time you've ever had? Have you had a couple?
Out of 1,600 plus jumps, I've only had to use my reserve parachute one time, and that was scary. And yet, I had a normal opening of the reserve and a routine landing. Standing on the edge of a building at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning at 450 feet, climbing a television transmission antenna at 4 o'clock in the morning to jump off, those are scary. And I don't do much of that anymore, I'll tell you.
There are people who, I mean, you're not satisfied until you do something like that once in your life.
I talk about Dick, who's a little older than I am. He's in his mid-50s, the pilot who just landed. He has over 50 jumps off the New River Gorge Bridge in West Virginia. So We've done that. We were just calculating last year. I think he has been about 18 years to this event, where it's legal one day a year to jump off a bridge.
And how high is the bridge?
The bridge is 876 feet, so it's a relatively safe form of base jumping.
If the chute opens.
Oh, they generally open. That's when you pack about 3,000 times, it's like making a bed.
But really, you've only had to use your reserve chute once?
One time.
And your main chute candled, or what happened?
No, actually, the handle for the pull-out pilot chute, this is what pulls the parachute out of the container. You can see this is about 18 to 20 inches in diameter, and right now it's kind of deflated. So bear with me here while I show you what this looks like. This is folded up in a pouch. You grab this and throw it out. This catches air and drags the rest of this out of the bag.
Aha!
So it was as simple a matter as this handle got stuffed into the pouch too far. It was bumped on exit. So I reached for it, couldn't find it, checked my altimeter, and then had to use the reserve.
Okay, here we go. But
that's why you train. The foundation of this sport, what makes it safe, is the training, the constant training. We still practice basic, fundamental reserve procedures, and we teach it to students, so it's fresh with us every day.
You had a little adrenaline rush that one day.
There was.
Maybe a few other days, too.
Yeah, many other days, actually.
But you still love doing it after all these years.
There's something about it. I do a lot of other things. Make no mistake, I do some conventional things. I enjoy golf and cycling and skiing. But this has a different level of excitement.
And you missed the Americade this weekend?
Actually, I don't motorcycle. I've cycled for years and years, bicycling.
Oh, I see. Bicycling. That's a big difference.
In fact,
you got a motor on it.
I'll tell you what, I'm more fearful of motorcycles than I am of falling out of aircraft. Friends of mine used to go to Laconia, New Hampshire every year at 100 miles an hour average speed on winding roads, and they'd tell me I was crazy for jumping out of a plane. I'd say to them,
everything's relative.
Consider everything is relative. When I'm falling at 120 miles an hour, everything around me is moving about the same speed. And when you're going on those back roads at 100 miles an hour, all them trees is stationary.
And dogs and cats and deer and fox and kids and farmers with tractors.
So I respect those guys. In fact, one of our students who's now got about 50 jumps in the past year is a former motorcycle racer from the area here. And he recently gave up motorcycle racing because skydiving is a little safer.
I love it. Where do you like to golf?
I've golfed at Bluff Point forever. I was a member for a while at Westport. I think Malone is a great course. Everywhere.
The reason I mention that is because Calvin and I just finished yesterday taping a little 2-hour piece on the history of Bluff Point.
Sure.
And not only the golf course, but of course the hotel. And they were connected for a long time. We walked down what they called the Green Drive or the Green Way, which is just a little path through the woods now, but it's where the guests at the hotel would head down to the golf course in the olden days. And it was very interesting. And they're going to be, I don't know when this will be shown, but there's going to be what they call a hickory stick or a hickory tournament this summer, which could be a lot of fun using the old clubs. Have you ever tried one?
Well, when I first started playing, my grandfather had cut down some of his hickory shafted clubs years ago. So when I was 5 years old, I had a small set of golf clubs, hickory shafted. Then when I was in college, I played nearly every afternoon with my grandfather, and sometimes my father would join us.
Isn't that
Three
great?
generations, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great tradition.
Yeah.
Now you don't use the hickory sticks anymore.
Not anymore. It's funny, from the air, we watched the progress on the barracks, 18-hole expansion, the 9-hole expansion on the barracks, and it looks pretty good. It's real brown right now, but next year we're hopeful.
Well, you know, there's a lot of great history in golfing here in the North Country, and to know that Bluff Point is the 3rd oldest golf course in the nation.
That's right.
It's history every time you hit one.
And they
miss
hosted
one.
world dignitaries and presidents years ago.
Yeah, they surely did. And you.
And me too.
I love it, Barry. Huh?
And Babe Ruth.
And Babe Ruth was there too. They were telling us that he hit one in the lake from the first tee, and I'm not sure. You know how legends get their start. And my wisecrack comment was, did he point toward the lake before he hit it? We don't know. It doesn't matter. It's a good place to live and work and play, as you've proved to us today. Barry.
Sure is. Yep. In fact, I hope you get an opportunity to talk to some of the other guys. One of the gentlemen who just jumped is from Montreal, the second one who landed. The other two guys are locals. The guy with the blue and yellow jumpsuit, interesting. His father was my first jump course instructor in 1976.
You gotta be kidding.
When he was 18, he came and made a jump with us. He and the other young man have graduated from college in the last couple of years and are now regulars at the club.
Well, we're delighted you dropped in to see us here today.
Good talking
Have
to you.
Have yourself a great day, my friend. Good
Thanks
to
very
see you
much.
again.
Thank you.
All right, Gary.
No problem for him, was
Gary,
it?
you need the line. Bring her.
Look how slow it looks going away from us. And it is fairly slow, but he didn't need much runway to get off. That was fun.
Hey, looks like the elevator's working, Gary. Yeah, it is.
Not so much fun. He's coming back to do it again, huh? No.
Yeah, he's coming in just barely over the trees there.
Got the helicopter on the ground. He's ready to go pretty soon.
Yeah, just talked to Floyd.
There he goes.
Asked him when he was going to go up. He said, anytime.
Anytime. I think he's going to go right now.
Make it happen. So, Floyd Hamilton about to go up.
Or? The thing is really spinning. There he goes.
That's wild. It was pretty good, wasn't it? I don't know about you, Gordy, but I expected a little bit more than that. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, at least he got it off the ground. That's kind of a neat plane. He's going out. There goes the helicopter.
Right.
Oh, that's too cool, isn't it?
That is cool,
so great, Bill.
I've never seen that.
And if you think that's fun, wait till the jet flies, and that's going up in a few minutes too.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I
200 miles an hour. In case our viewers forgot, that's Floyd Hamilton in that wild green shirt, whom we interviewed from down around the Albany area, who's really into the helicopter business and has a couple of them that, with any luck at all, will be on the cover of some of the world's most prestigious aeromodeling magazines within a few months. And These helicopters have running lights on them, as you may have seen the last time it came by. But we also heard him say it takes about 9 maneuvers a second to keep these things hovering. So
It's like balancing a plate on a ball bearing.
that's just about what it's like. Yeah,
Probably that's what they told me.
that's amazing.
I heard it the other way. A plate on top of the ball bearing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Obviously, he's very, very good at it too.
Wow. I guess I was hearing it the bowl on top of the ball bearing. It's tough.
Fun to have the regular prop plane in the air and the helicopter, and it's amazing what they can do with a chopper.
Guys, you know,
It certainly has been a tremendous pleasure to be up here today at this club field off the Rooney Road, Beekmantown, on a Saturday in June 2004 to help raise some money for hospice and to watch these planes fly, and these very skilled, passionate pilots. Look at this. Look at this. You wouldn't guess that they could do some of these maneuvers with a helicopter. I can see the blinking lights on the side. A lot of people who were doing other things a few minutes ago have had their attention drawn to this helicopter. It's a lot of fun to watch it. And we talked to our good friend Ken Gadway a while ago, and Ken told us that he flew planes here using chainsaw engines. It's amazing. $1.20's worth of gas, he said I could fly all week.
He runs his tools off transmissions off off old cars, so he just innovates.
He added a new gear on his transmission so he can go a lot faster. Ken Gadway is the guy who's a wood turner off the Turner Road in Schuyler Falls. The first person we interviewed who does the bowl turning and makes many other things out of various kinds of exotic woods. It's fun to watch him work. And there's a very nice crowd of participants and spectators here today at this fly-in, as they're calling it. The helicopter has quite a whine to it. Cars have been in and out throughout much of the day today. No doubt some of these same people will be back tomorrow, as this is a 2-day event, and I was surprised to learn that they raised at least $1,000 for hospice last year, and so decided to do it again. And he's down. And then he's back up again.
You see Jim flagging the car through when you come here. You pay your admission. They'll tell you to wait till you get flagged in, because the last thing they want is somebody to be underneath the car.
You don't want any danger, that's for sure. And you can tell there are many rules that are posted here, plus a lot of tacit rules, understood rules that these pilots have, and most of them are extremely skilled and done this for a long time. And it's interesting to me to interview the jumper and to find out he's only had one close call and all those. I think maybe he was holding back the really good ones, Calvin. It makes you wonder. Sides of buildings, television antennas.
One close call is all you need, I guess.
It's probably one more than you'd want. That's for sure. You've never tried that, have you?
No, I've fallen several times, but
I have.
jumped.
From pretty high places, but never out of a plane. I came close with Mr. Stanley a few years ago. We were going to jump, and one of us got sick before we left. I'm not sure if it was real or imagined, but the jump did not take place. Nowadays, it's not uncommon for people to just go into an airport and you strap yourself to somebody who's used to it, and you hug him very tightly on the way down.
Looks like Leonard is ready to go.
I think
he's put some color on his jet.
Oh, I noticed that.
Last time we saw it. Nice and red decals on it. And actually for this, Gordy, I'm gonna back up a little ways because I'm gonna have a tough time keeping that in view, and if I'm too close.
As long as we can see it once in a while,
Yeah.
Calvin, that'll be fine.
That'll be our hope. Once in a while. That's all I can guarantee, the takeoff, and that'll be about it.
We'll take a little picture of this turbine or this jet plane with Leonard Smart, the man in the Panama hat, as they prepare it for one of its earlier flights that hasn't flown that many times in the past. Should be a spectacle to view, and we'll do our best to bring as much of the flight as we possibly can through the eyes of the hometown cable camera. So all eyes will be on the jet. There's no question about it. You can hear the sound of a jet engine running. If we were smart, we'd have a little music leaving on a jet plane behind us, but we're not that smart, so you're just going to have to sing it in your head.
Earlier when I was watching that helicopter up there, Gordy, I got thinking that a year ago we not only celebrated Tom Tyler's 100th birthday, but we also celebrated the 100th anniversary of flight. And you can imagine the Wright brothers would have thought if they'd showed up here and seen what's going on here today.
They did make models, as you know. Almost every airplane manufacturer, certainly new designs, are run through tests and in those air tunnels that they have, and through models. And most of the planes that you see here are actually scale models of larger aircraft. Some of them are closer in detail than others. They rev up this engine to make sure that it's working.
Did you see that little orange fence move when he stepped on the gas?
Yes, I did. No, both those guys won't be riding it into the air, but they'll be holding it down until it's ready to fly. Okay, so now they can bring the kids up to the fence again to view it. It's good to inspire the young people, and you can see a number of the smaller children that are here who are really grew up in the jet plane era. I can remember the first one I saw in the late 1940s. And it'll soon be off the ground. It's taxiing now. Easy to follow at that speed, right? He's going to turn around and launch it on this direction. Here it goes. But it sounds like a real jet, doesn't it? That's because it is. Here it comes. Now you know why he put the orange on the wings, because it's easy to lose in the air. Here it comes. Oh, he's having fun with it now. Look at that thing climb. Wow-wee. Coming in.
I forget what the model of thrust is on this particular model, but
It's so smooth. Mind you, there isn't much time on this plane, but Leonard is very good at it. I think he said it was not uncommon to, wow, look at this. Not uncommon to have $10,000 in an aircraft this size. People loved it. Boy, it's easy to lose it in the sun. Wow, he's way up there. Glad I wore my shades, I'll tell you that. Those little tiny passengers in there are getting their money's worth too, aren't they? Fasten your seatbelts.
They're using a little tiny barf bag.
Yeah, I think so. Everybody loves it. Now you're hearing applause from many of the seasoned pilots here who have not graduated to turbine engines, so they're delighted. People who are seeing it for the first time like us are just thrilled beyond words.
although these are made for can't slow down and crawl across the also. Something slows down his truck, it will fly by.
I think they should have called the National Guard out of Vermont and had a flyover today. Wouldn't that have been fun? There might have been a little laughter on the other end of the phone line as they called and made that request in light of the world situation. You know, at a certain point, to look at that at a distance away, you wouldn't be able to know that it wasn't a real full-size jet, because it's all in the perspective and how far away you are and what it looks like. Oh, look at this. Wow.
I hope that was on purpose, Barry.
Yeah, I think it was. Look at that, a mere 20 feet or so above the field and then climbing straight up and turning. You almost reach a stall speed at the top. That's right, as Jim is saying, you have to be way ahead. You have to anticipate because everything is so fast. I would say your vision has to be almost 20/20 to be able to follow that and anticipate and make the plane do what you want to. You wouldn't want to blink too often, I don't think.
I'm sure he doesn't relax at all until the
No.
plane is on the ground. Just trying to keep it in the camera here is
It's incredible. I don't know how you can do it.
job. I can imagine trying to pilot that thing.
It's a wonderful demonstration. And as Leonard said earlier, it lands so slowly that you think it's going to drop from the sky, but it doesn't. So it's a little tricky just to bring it in for a landing at such a slow speed. But he's got it doing very nicely. Beautiful landing. Perfect landing. Wow. Absolutely smooth. Wouldn't break an egg. The fact that he knew the camera was on him all the time didn't make any difference at all, I bet you. We're just so delighted to know some of these guys who fly these planes and to be thrilled by it, by the spectacle of watching it. Well, he's going to turn it around and bring it back in front of a very appreciative crowd here at the Memorial Airfield, home of the Plattsburgh Radio Aero Modelers on the Rooney Road outside of Plattsburgh on a day in June 2004. What a kick this is.
And it's very nice that they opted to come here and support the local flight club because, as Leonard told us, there's an international meet in Ontario today, and they could have been there, but instead they're here.
Yeah. And I think in the future, maybe thanks to this program on Hometown Cable and your various cable systems in northern New York, that we will help to generate an interest in this sport, if not in participation, at least in being a spectator, so that hopefully our friends who are watching this will tell their friends and their kids about it. The kids will beg for them to bring them here next year, and maybe the parents will beg their kids to come along with them. So that, if for no other reason, has made it an awful lot of fun for us.
Well, for years, the air show at the airbase was very popular, and in some respects, you're seeing an air show in miniature here. You're seeing the same type of maneuvers and twists and turns in the air and everything, and it's on a scale model basis, but I think it's worth the price of admission to be here.
I think so, especially in knowing, and there are still cars coming in, by the way, especially in knowing that it's the entire two-day event this year, as it was last year, is meant to support hospice, I'm sorry. Got hostage on my mind, Hospice of the North Country, which does a magnificent job in making the end of people's lives a lot better than it would be otherwise. I thank you all for watching Hometown Cable, especially for watching our little corner today and every time it's on the air. We always welcome your suggestions as to subject matter. We do have a nice little list of folks we want to try to talk to, places we'd like to visit in the near future, but we always entertain your suggestions or comments in any way. Thank you for your ideas, and thank you also for your monetary support. If you're part of a local business, an individual or a group or an institution, and you want a way to support what we do, yes, that's the only way we survive, by your support. So if you'd like to be an underwriter, call Calvin Castine at Hometown Cable, 2 words in the book, and we might be able to accommodate you. And he'll find a way to sign your check. Thank you again for watching and for talking about this program Have a wonderful summer, everybody, or whatever the season of the year it might be. There goes another helicopter as we fade away, and I say those not too prophetic words, but at least they're traditional. Who knows where we're going to be next time for our little